Welcome to Manchester Vibes, your one-stop channel for everything happening in the heart of Manchester. Man United transfer news. USA starlet set to train with Red Devils as Ruud van Nistelrooy eyes raid. Manchester United boss Ruben Amorim will be eager to add new recruits to take his squad to the next level after a difficult start to the season, with the transfer window set to open in a few weeks' time. Manchester United boss Ruben Amorim may be tempted to bolster his side in the January transfer window after watching his side concede in the first minute against Nottingham Forest. United had summer signing Lenny Yoro starting in defense for the first time this season, but that didn't stop Nikola Milinkovic from burying a header to give Amorim's side a nightmare start. The Red Devils did recover as Rasmus Højlund got United level 18 minutes later, but Morgan Gibbs-White stunned Amorim's side with a strike in the opening moments of the second half. The new coach will now be eager to add new recruits to take them to the next level after a difficult start to the season. Mirror Football has rounded up some of the biggest transfer stories involving Manchester United in the last 24 hours. Van Nistelrooy eyes Man United raid. Ruud van Nistelrooy has only just left Old Trafford following his short yet successful stint as interim boss, but he's already looking to take some players with him to Leicester after taking over at the King Power. The Dutchman oversaw 3 wins and a draw after temporarily replacing the sacked Erik ten Hag in October, but United opted to bring in Amorim from Sporting Lisbon as their next permanent boss. Van Nistelrooy decided to go straight back into a job after Leicester axed Steve Cooper, starting with a 3-1 win over West Ham. Now he reportedly wants to sign United youth star Toby Collier on loan, according to The Sun. The ex-United striker, who said he was hurt by his exit from Old Trafford, said he had already held talks with Leicester Chiefs about January signings. However, Leicester have already reached their limit of 2 domestic loan signings, so one of Facundo Buonanot and Odsonne Edouard would need to have their deals cancelled if Collier was to come in. USA teenager set to train with United. United States wonderkid Nimfasha Berkemas is reportedly set to train with Manchester United next week ahead of a potential move. The 16-year-old made his MLS debut for Charlotte FC earlier this year, becoming one of the U.S. top flight's youngest players in the process. Berkemas is now one of the most sought-after young talents in European football, and United have invited him to train at Old Trafford, according to Give Me Sport. United youth chiefs are set to assess him before possibly making an offer to sign him. Jason Wilcox, the club's technical director, is said to be keen to identify the next wave of academy talent. So far, Berkemas has 3 appearances for the Charlotte FC senior side, after already scoring 6 from. Diogo Dalot fails to impress from left wing-back versus Nottingham Forest. Manchester United suffered their second Premier League defeat on the bounce following a 3-2 loss to Nottingham Forest at Old Trafford on Saturday. The Red Devils made the worst possible start with Nikola Milinkovic scoring after just 2 minutes on the clock. The Serbian netted with a towering header from a corner. United managed to pull level through Rasmus Højlund before the break. The good work was undone in the second half with Andre Onana's huge blunder in the 47th minute. Morgan Gibbs-White put the visitors ahead. Chris Wood soon made it 3-1 in their favor. Onana, Matthijs de Ligt and Lisandro Martinez were all unable to intercept his header. Bruno Fernandes reduced the deficit with a powerful strike, but United failed to find the equalizer. There were several poor performances in the game. Onana had a day to forget while Martinez was outmuscled by Milinkovic in the lead-up to Forest's opening goal. However, we were particularly disappointed with Diogo Dalot's display from left wing-back. Manchester United suffered their second Premier League defeat on the bounce following a 3-2 loss to Nottingham Forest at Old Trafford on Saturday. The Red Devils made the worst possible start with Nikola Milinkovic scoring after just 2 minutes on the clock. The Serbian netted with a towering header from a corner. United managed to pull level through Rasmus Højlund before the break. The good work was undone in the second half with Andre Onana's huge blunder in the 47th minute. Morgan Gibbs-White put the visitors ahead. Chris Wood soon made it 3-1 in their favor. Onana, Matthijs de Ligt and Lisandro Martinez were all unable to intercept his header. Bruno Fernandes reduced the deficit with a powerful strike, but United failed to find the equalizer. There were several poor performances in the game. Onana had a day to forget while Martinez was outmuscled by Milinkovic in the lead-up to Forest's opening goal. However, we were particularly disappointed with Diogo Dalot's display from left wing-back. PSG logo Paris Saint-Germain. Loading official content. Keep watching. The Portuguese has struggled to impress from the role on multiple occasions, and we saw something similar yesterday. Dalot failed to deliver any of his 9 crosses attempted. He lost possession on a staggering 21 occasions with 3 fouls committed and just 1 long ball, 1/3. Dalot was one of the worst performers alongside Onana and Martinez. He received a 4 out of 10 rating from Manchester Evening News after failing to provide any attacking threat. In our opinion, manager Ruben Amorim must drop him to the bench on the back of yesterday's showing. Dalot has clearly struggled from the left wing-back position. Could be time to give him a breather. We believe Nistelrooy should play there in future, with Leny Yoro now fit to start in the back 3 alongside Martinez and De Ligt after his injury layoff. I jumped on plane to go to Arsenal and loved Boss, but I feel more connected to Fulham. Luis Boa Morte was plucked from obscurity in Portugal to join Arsenal in 1997, but it was his move to Fulham 2 years later that changed everything for the winger. Joining Arsenal marked the beginning of a dream for Luis Boa Morte, but it was at Fulham where he truly found his home. In 1997, the Portuguese winger moved to the Premier League, stepping out of relative obscurity after impressing at the Toulon tournament. He initially thought Arsenal's interest was a joke, especially since he was on loan from Sporting CP to lower league Lourenço. When they contacted me, I thought they were joking. The truth is I didn't really want to go to England. My desire was to stay at Sporting and reach the first team. But they didn't want to review my contract at that time, and there was only that solution, Boa Morte explained to Portuguese outlet O Jogo. Only when Sporting did not want to renew my contract did I know that it was Arsenal, and then said, "We'll catch the plane tomorrow," he added in a chat with Tribuna Expresso. His initial reluctance turned to awe upon arriving in North London. At just 19, Boa Morte found himself among a long line of world-class stars. I arrive at Arsenal and I'm there with David Seaman, Tony Adams, Dennis Bergkamp, Ian Wright. There was a lot of quality, he recalled. Suddenly, I'm right there among them. These things I was not expecting and had to get used to fast. Manager Arsene Wenger played a significant role in helping Boa Morte adjust, labeling his influence as like a dad for me when speaking to Vavel. Wenger was very important. Even before I signed, he spoke to me. He said, "They had patience with me and they helped me. I can't complain because things went well for me." Despite playing a part in Arsenal's 1997-98 Premier League winning season, Boa Morte found it tough to nail down a starting position and eventually left for Southampton in 1999, followed by a move to Fulham. It was then that his career took a positive turn, becoming a key player and earning the affection of fans. Fulham says a lot to me. For the promotion, for everything I've been through, and for having created a connection with the club and the fans, Boa Morte reflected. Under Jean Tagana's management, he played a pivotal role in getting them promoted to the Premier League in 2001. He cherishes his time at Fulham above all, despite winning titles with Arsenal. "That's where I had the most influence," he admitted. "Although at Arsenal I won the Premier League, the FA Cup and the Super Cup, Fulham says a lot more to me." Boa Morte, who left Fulham in 2007, had spells with West Ham United and headed overseas before hanging up his boots and moving into coaching. He returned to the club as assistant to Marco Silva in 2021, but after 3 years he left to take over the national team of Guinea-Bissau in the summer. Man United players' reaction to Nottingham Forest winner highlighted everything wrong with them. Nottingham Forest were deserved winners at Old Trafford as Man United suffered a stark regression in a 3-2 defeat. Bruno Fernandes reacted to Nottingham Forest's third goal by complaining to the referee. That, in a microcosm, is the problem with this Manchester United side. They do not look at themselves enough. That lack of accountability is why they are closer to the relegation zone than the top 4. A win would have taken United above Forest. Instead, Forest are now 6 points clear of United, still marooned in 13th. United's evening ended with a feckless free kick conceded by Diogo Dalot inside his own third. That was the final agonizing act. This was Forest's first win at Old Trafford since Stan Collymore wowed the scoreboard end in December 1994. Forest threatened to end that wait last year by scoring 2 goals inside the first 3 minutes. United salvaged that day. They didn't today. This was a severe regression for Ruben Amorim's side. 3 more goals sieved at Old Trafford and Andre Onana back in the form of his first 6 months at the club. The Cameroonian was enjoying a fine season until his timid goalkeeping at Arsenal's corners, and his howler was reminiscent of his error-strewn first 6 months in Manchester. Almost as bad was Chris Wood's header to make it 3-1 as United again shrunk amid the aerial bombardment. Wood's header was stoppable, though. Matthijs de Ligt left it for Onana, who left it for Lisandro Martinez, who let the ball drop in. That Ajax triangle is not a ringing endorsement of Erik ten Hag's tenure. Onana has had a week to forget, yet de Ligt and Martinez cannot be certain of remaining mainstays in Ruben Amorim's defensive trident beyond this season. This was a truly galling reality check for United, a barely mid-table team whose top 4 chances are receding by the week. They must hope City are as charitable as their recent performances in next week's derby at the Etihad. Fernandes demonstrated his merits as a captain, with a deft flick that accelerated the attack for United's first-half equalizer and clinically sweeping in on 61 minutes. Every United player was immediately buoyed by the prospect of another comeback. Onana, itching to feel involved outside the area, turned cheerleader. Removing Fernandes in the 77th minute was suspect from Amorim. For all the baggage Fernandes comes with, he handles matters and tends to create something out of nothing whilst underperforming. United never looked close to scoring again after he went off. Amorim suggested on Friday he was more or less close to settling on a best 11, and this was more or less close to it. He also admitted United are no longer a massive team. Forest confirmed that. There was scant progress on the pitch. In conditions so treacherous that the Sir Bobby Charlton stand's roof was in danger of coming off, never mind leaking, United were not as